Today I will be giving you an overview of the motivation theories. Also, how can those motivational theories be used in a positive work setting, and should it be developed? Um, and would you build motivation at your workplace specifically? How would you do this? So, the first motivational theory that we will discuss is Maslow's theory, which talks about the hierarchy of needs. When you talk about the hierarchy of needs, first thing that comes to mind is the pyramid, and starts from the bottom. It goes from psychological needs to safety needs, belonging, esteem, and when you finally reach self-actualization. As we satisfy each of these basic needs, you start to satisfy in the order. So in other words, once the lower need is satisfied, it no longer serves as a motivator. So now I'm on to the next step. Now my needs for belonging needs to be satisfied. After I satisfy that need, then now that's not a motivator anymore. I don't want to belong anymore. Now I got my esteem to worry about. The next one is the ERG theory. It's basic human needs. They may be grouped under three categories. Existence, which talks about it corresponds to Maslow's psychological and safety needs. The relatedness, which corresponds to the social need of the Maslow hierarchy of needs, as well as the growth, which refers to the esteem and the self-actualization. McClellan's achievement motivation theory. It talks about the need for achievement and accomplishing something difficult. So, for example, as a kid, you're encouraged to do things for yourself. Then you have the need for affiliation, from close personal relationships. For example, as a kid, you're rewarded for making friends. Then you have the need for power and to control things. And another example of that would be, as a kid, you're able to get what you want through controlling others. So Hertzberg's two-factor theory discussed two different types of factors. They like to call it hygiene and motivators. Hygiene is dissatisfaction. So what falls underneath the hygiene factor that will keep someone dissatisfied would be company policy, supervision and relationships, working conditions, the salary, and security. People are often dissatisfied with working conditions, sometimes policies, and definitely salary, which causes them to look for other employment. When we're talking about satisfaction, the motivators, we're talking about achievement, recognition, interesting work, increased responsibility, and advancement and growth. Those can have you satisfied. When people are advancing and they're growing, you're interested in your work, you are satisfied and you're very motivated. Some other theories that come into play, Skinner's reinforcement theory. The reinforcement theory, we talk about positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, extinction, and punishment. So with positive reinforcement, it's a strengthening technique. It's a behavior that strengthens. And with this process, you're getting good things as a consequence of behavior. So, hey, here goes a piece of candy for making the class on time, something of that nature. When we're talking about negative reinforcement, it's another strengthening behavior. In this process, you have a stressor that's taken away as a consequence of a behavior. So, negative reinforcement, you're going to get a 0 for not doing your homework. Extinction, it's a weakening behavior, but in this process, you're getting no goods when you do a behavior. So basically, you're not going to get rewarded for something that you're supposed to be doing. And punishment, of course, you get punished for doing something that you was not supposed to be doing. So it's a consequence. The expectancy theory, it proposes that people will choose how to behave depending on the outcomes they expect as a result of their behavior. So 3 elements: expectancy, which is the belief that effort will result in a desired goal. This is based on past experiences, your self confidence, and how difficult you think the goal is to achieve. What do you expect? Instrumentality, the belief that you will receive a reward if you meet the performance expectations. So I'm going to receive a reward once I reach that goal. And valence, you value the value you place on a reward. So how much is getting that goal worth to me? The equity theory. So with this theory, we're talking about the states that people are motivated if they are treated, equally, and they receive what they consider fair for their efforts and costs. So people basically, when they put in their inputs and then they have the outputs, they're expecting the equal product. If people perceive that the ratio of their inputs and outputs to the ratios of others are equitable, then they are motivated to reduce what they output. So, in other words, if I see someone not working as hard as I am and they're still reaping the rewards, then I'm not going to put too much effort into what I'm doing because they're still reaping the benefits. So I'm going to do the same exact thing that they're doing. And lastly, we're talking about Locke's goal setting theory. Your goal, when you're setting a goal, it should be smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. So when you're making goals, you want to make sure that it's specific to what you're trying to do and make sure that there is a reason why you're doing it, and you want to make sure that it's realistic, because if you make a goal that's not realistic, then you probably will not achieve that goal. You want to make sure you have a nice time frame. So goal setting is a great motivational theory that people use on a daily basis. I goal set every day. So how can motivation be used positively in the work settings? So goal setting is a great one, if you want to move up the ladder, and positive reinforcement and negative reinforcements, those are great ways to do it too. How should we go about developing these motivational theories in the workplace? You have to make sure that every staff member is on board for certain reasons. You want to make sure that everybody is on the same page when they are talking about motivation. What motivates this person and what motivates that person, and how would you build motivation at your workplace specifically? Great ways is to build motivation in a teacher environment, a classroom setting at a high school, is to have hands-on activity. I would build motivation through hands-on. Motivators talks about satisfaction. So when we're talking about the